to my R2-D2 crochet hat tutorial inspired by Star Wars. This is a really fun hat to make, and it's also surprisingly easy. So the materials that you're going to need for this hat are a 4.25 millimeter crochet hook, that's a G or 6. You'll also need scissors, measuring tape, and a tapestry needle. As for yarn, you are going to need blue, black, white, a light gray, and a red. I usually use Super Saver yarn, Red Heart Super Saver, or Red Heart Soft, depending on the colors that I can find. For this tutorial, I'm going to actually be using a lighter blue. This is another option for the hat if this is the look that you would like. I'm mostly doing it with the lighter blue just because it shows up, the lighter color shows up a little bit better on camera. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial, and let's begin. So to start this hat, you're going to do a magic circle. So you're going to lay the yarn in your opposite hand, wrap it around, and pinch it under that thumb. Okay, so there's like this little X underneath that thumb. Gonna flip your hand over, go under, grab that yarn, pull it through, and then pinch right there. And that is a little magic circle loop. Now for this circle, we're going to be crocheting into this loop over these two strands. All right, so we're going to start by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3. And then now we're going to do 9 double crochet into this circle. Oh, sorry. So to double crochet, you're going to wrap the yarn around, go down, pull the yarn through. So now you have 3 on your hook. Now you're going to wrap around and go through 2. And then wrap around and then go through 2. That's 1 double crochet. So now we're going to repeat that 8 more times. Wrap it around into the circle, through 2, through 2. Wrap it around into the circle, through 2, through 2. Wrap it around into the circle, through 2, through 2. Alright, so that's 4 double crochets. We're going to keep going until we have 10. 5. And I'm going to actually tighten this circle just a little bit, just so it's a little bit easier. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 'Pulled through a little weird. There we go. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Alright, so when we look at this, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total on here when you include the chain. Alright, so now we're going to tighten this. We've made our magic circle. We're going to slip stitch into this 3rd chain. So to slip stitch, you just wrap it around, pull through, and pull through. And there is our magic circle. Okay, for this next round, so that was round 1, now we're starting round 2. So you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now you're going to do 2 double crochets into each stitch all the way around. So wrap it around, go into this first stitch here. Go through 2, through 2. Now we need to do a second one in that same stitch. So there's 2 in that first stitch. We're going to repeat that all the way around. One, 2. Next stitch. 1, 2. 1, 2. Into the next stitch. 1 and 2. I'm just going to keep going around. Now we're going to do something a little bit different on this last one than what I do on most of my hats. So if you've ever crocheted one of my hats before, make sure that you pay attention here at the end and you don't just skip and go on. All right, 1, 2. And if you need a pause because you're not quite staying up with me, that's fine. Just start it when you can and pick back up with us. Okay, so we've done 2 double crochets into each stitch. Now normally, and make sure you check and make sure that you do have 2 in each stitch. Now normally we just chain right here and connect up with our chain. This time we're going to actually do a stitch right here at the bottom here. And what that's going to do is that's going to turn this chain here into 2 double crochets. And we're doing that just so that we have the right number of double crochets all the way around. This is really important for our increase because of the nature of the hat. See, because this hat's here, okay, we have to have 10 here, 20 here, 30 here, so that these are all the same size. Okay, so that's why we're doing this. All right, so now we're going to chain, slip stitch into this chain. The 3rd one up. All right, and now you'll see when you look at this, it looks like 2 double crochet in that stitch. Okay, and so if you were to count these, you'd have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And that's exactly what we need. So now we are going to change colors. We're going to change to white. So to do that, you're going to tie a little knot around the blue here. And leave a little bit of a tail just to make it easier to work it in. Alright, so now what you're going to do is you're going to pull this white through. Okay, you're going to kind of pull that knot up as close as you can and then wrap around and pull that loop through. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now see how this blue is kind of coming up? Now what we're going to do is on the back side, you're going to pull, kind of pinch that and pull, and now that blue is worked in and it's just a nice little color change there. Alright, so now for this round, we are going to do 1 double crochet in one stitch and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. We're going to do the same thing as last time, where this is going to become a 2 double crochet at the end. So we're going to start with 1 double crochet in this first stitch. So wrap it around, go to that first stitch, and we're doing 1 double crochet. Okay, now in this next stitch right here, we're going to do 2. So 1, 2. Alright, now in the next stitch we're just going to do 1 double crochet. Then in the next one we're doing 2. 1, 2. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to repeat that all the way around, and I will meet you here. Another thing that you can do, if you'd like, you can work this yarn in while you are crocheting. It's totally up to you. I forgot because I was explaining, but you could do that if you want to go back and do that. You can work that in and then snip it off. All right, so I'm just going to keep going around doing 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochet, and I'll meet you here. All right, so the last stitch is going to be 1 double crochet. So we've been doing 2, 1, 2, 1. So we would normally end on the 1, but we're going to now turn this into 2 double crochet. So we're going to wrap it around and go into this little stitch just right below it. It might be kind of hard. If you need to, you can just take your crochet hook and wedge it in there. There we go. All right, so now we're going to slip stitch into this chain. And that's the end of round 2. Okay, so now we're ready to move on to round 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is where we're going to start doing these blocks of blue with the stripe of white. Okay, so just follow along with me. As long as you've got the right number of stitches, you're going to be great. All right, so we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change colors to blue. Okay, so if you cut this off, that's fine. Just tie the knot onto the white, pull it down like we did earlier. I'm just going to pull it up from here because I did not cut it. So you're going to pull that blue through, and then you're going to pinch this and kind of pull the white down. And now we're going to change to blue. You're going to wrap it around. We're going to go into this first stitch. We're going to do 1 double crochet. Okay, and then in the next stitch, another 1 double crochet. So 3 1 double crochet, and then in this 4th stitch of blue, you're going to do 2 double crochet into that stitch. So 1 and 2. Okay, so now you're going to change colors to white. So here on the back, you can just bring the white over here. Now what you need to make sure is that you leave it kind of loose, okay, so that it doesn't tighten the hat. You don't want to have that tight. So wrap it around, pinch and pull down. And now we're going to do 1 double crochet with the white. Okay, now we're going to switch to blue. Wrap that around. Whew. Pull a little bit of white through there with there. Alright, pinch that down, pull, around blue. Okay, now we're going to do that again. The 3 double crochet with blue, or yeah, 3 1 double crochet with blue. Next stitch. 3rd stitch. Alright, now in this next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet. So 1 and 2. And we're going to switch back to white. Remember, you need to make sure that you're keeping this white loose so it doesn't make your hat too tight. Wrap that around, do 1 stitch of 1 double crochet with the white. We're going to switch with the blue. You're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around. I'll go ahead and just do this first one with you all the way around, just because I know that changing colors can be a little bit tricky. So there's 1, 2, 3. Alright, and then now 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Alright, now change back to the white. Pull that through, pinch, pull that. 1 double crochet with the white. Switch back to the blue. Wrap that around, go down. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Switch to white. Pinch, pull that blue down. Make sure that white's nice and loose. Switch back to the blue. Wrap it around. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 double crochet. Switch to white. Make sure that you keep the white loose. Pinch, pull the blue, wrap it around. 1 white. Switch back to blue. And you'll notice that they're starting to kind of wrap around each other, but that's okay. Alright. 1, 2, 3. And this last stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochet. 1, 2. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch colors back to the white. Pinch that blue down. Now we're going to slip stitch into this chain. And that is the end of round 4. And it should look like this. Now since these are kind of wrapped around each other from all of that, you're just going to kind of wrap this the opposite direction so that these 2 strands aren't wrapped around each other. Okay, and now we're ready for round 5. So it's going to be similar to our last round, but we're still doing an increase, which is that 2 double crochet. Okay, so this time around we're going to do 1 of white, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 double crochet, and then in this 5th stitch, okay, the blue, we're going to do 2 double crochet there. All right, so chain 3 with the white, bring that blue up, pull that white down. All right, wrap it around. And now you've got an option here. If you'd like, you can stitch these in as you go along. It definitely makes it just kind of feel better on the inside and makes for a cleaner hat. But sometimes it will kind of cause this white to peek through a little bit more. So it's totally your choice. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to work it in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in this 5th stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. Okay, now we're going to change to white, making sure that you're keeping it loose and not too tight. Wrap it around, go into that 1st stitch, that next stitch, the white, Now we're switching colors to blue. And now you're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around. I'll do it one more time with you, and then I will, you can keep going around and I'll meet you at the end. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 double crochet into this next stitch. Alright, and then you're going to switch colors to white. Pull that down. And now you're just going to continue to repeat this pattern all the way around. And I will meet you here. Okay, so we made it all the way around. So now we're going to change colors to white. Maybe double check and make sure that you did the right pattern. Okay, you've got the white, 1, 2, 3, 4 blue, then 2 double crochet, and it follows that pattern all the way around. Okay, so we changed to white. Pinch and pull that down. Slip stitch into that, and that is the end of round 5. So now we're going to start round 6. 1, 2, 3, change to blue, wrap it around, so now we're doing 1 blue, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again we're just increasing on the last of the blue. So doing 2 double crochet into that stitch. So there we are. Now we're going to change colors to white. Down in. Change to blue, and we're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around. Again, we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the increase or 2 double crochet into that stitch. Repeat it all the way around, and I will meet you back here. So we made it all the way around. So now we're going to pull the white through, change to the white, slip stitch into here, and that's the end of round 6. So let's take our measuring tape out and measure this. It should be measuring around 6 inches, just under 6 inches. 6 inches would be fine for like a small, like a not quite infant, that would be even smaller, but you could do this for like a toddler size, like 18 months to, 2.5, 3. But since I'm going to want to make, a child, teen, or adult size, we're going to keep going with this increase. If you're done and you want it to be toddler size, you're done now making it this round, and then now you're ready just to go 1 double crochet in each stitch. But we're going to go ahead and continue on, continuing to do an increase to make this circle wider so that it can fit the size that we'd like. So we are now done with the blocks on top. So that's what's going to look like this. See that? So we're done with that, and now it's time to move on to back to white. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and snip this. And we'll leave it kind of long just so that we can work that in at the end. Or we could work it in now. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna work that in at the end. All right, so we're gonna chain 3. Get that blue out of the way now that we're done. If you're like me, you've probably got these all wrapped around each other, but okay, there we go. So now we're gonna do 1 double crochet into these stitches, and then we're gonna do 2 double crochet here into this stitch. So we'll go here, we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, so this row. Okay, so just in that same stitch there, we're going to be doing 2 double crochet. Alright, so we're going to keep going around, and you're just going to continue to do that increase into the blue of each of these. The spot with the 2 double crochet, the increase from the row before. And so I'm just going to keep going around. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 double crochet. We're going to repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we made it all the way around, and now we're going to slip stitch into here. And that is the end of round 7, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 7. Okay, let's go ahead and measure that now. So now we're measuring at about 6 3/4. Okay, this is going to be a good size for a small child. If you have like an older child, you know, it's almost like preteen type age, I would go on with us in this next round. We're going to do this next round for like a teen, adult type size. So if you're making this for a child who has a larger head, then I would go ahead and keep increasing. But if you're making this for a kid between the ages of like 4 to 8 or 9, I would go ahead and stop with the increase here and pick up with us on the next round, which means all you'll be doing from now on is just 1 double crochet into each stitch. So right now we're just going to do another round with the increase. 2, 3, and this time, instead of doing 6, 1 double crochet in 6 of the stitches and then 2 double crochet in that one, we're going to be doing 7. And again, it's just going into the same increase from the last round, so that makes it nice and easy because you really don't even have to count them all that much. You can just see where you did the increase from the last round and do the 2 double crochet into that stitch. So you can see here, this is where we've been increasing. So we're going to do the increase here again. Now this is only if you're doing an older child, teen to adult, is you're still doing this increase. Okay. So there we go. We're going to keep going. And I'm just going to keep going all the way around, and I will meet you back here. Okay, so we made it all the way around. So now we're going to slip stitch into here. And that is the end of that round. So let's go ahead and measure that now. And we should be around like 8 inches, 7.5 to 8 inches. So yeah, we're at 8 inches. Now normally if this is completely flat, 8 inches would probably be too big for a child size hat. That would be more so just like an adult hat. But since this is already kind of more domed shape, this is actually going to fit very well. It should be really good. So, you know, do it however it works best for you. Either stop the increase the row before or continue the increase. This should be a good size hat for, you know, preteen, teen, and, you know, even adult. If you have a really, really big head, you might want to add, you know, on this next round, do another round of the increase, but it's totally up to you. From now on, I'm just going to go and do the 1 double crochet into each stitch. So this next bit, we're just going to continue on with the white. If you're doing a child size hat, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of the white. And that is for a hat that's going to end up measuring about 8 inches tall. Okay. Now for an adult size, you actually want it to measure closer to 9 inches. Okay, so if you are doing an adult size, you're going to do 6 rows instead of 5 rows of the white. And then you can also add additional length here at the end, depending on where you're at with the height. So, so you're going to keep doing that, keep going around 1 double crochet into each stitch for either 5 or 6 rows. If you're doing a toddler size, then I would actually still do the 5 here, and then I would take out a row here when we do this later, just to kind of make it shorter. But you're also welcome to take out a row here if you're doing a toddler size, whatever you'd like to do. So I'm going to just keep going around 1 double crochet into each stitch, and this one I'm making for an adult size, so I'm going to be doing 6 rows total. You do whatever's best for you, and I'll meet you back here. Alright, so we have finished our rows of white, and now it's time to move on to doing this blue here on the bottom. So this pattern, it's going to be a little bit different based on if you're doing a child size or an adult size, and I'll have this written in the comment section, or not comment section, but the description, video description below. I'll also try to post it here as well. So the numbers here are going to change based on if you stopped the increase for a child size or if you went on the increase to do the larger child to adult size. So I'm just going to explain this just kind of by looking at the hat. Okay, you're going to have this first little post about the middle. If you were to put the hat in half, let's see, where's the half point? There it is. So if you put the hat in half, okay, this first white post is going to be about the middle of this strip here. Okay, then we do a block of about 6 here. Okay, when we look at the front, with it front on, okay, we've got a space here, and then when you look at it from the side, okay, it should look like this. And so based on, I mean, if you kind of did your own thing up here and the numbers aren't quite lining up with what I'm going to be doing on these 2 hats, I just want you to see how it's all lining up, so that if you need to kind of change things up, you can do that. Alright, so I'm just going to explain quickly what the pattern is for the child size, and then I'm going to show you the, you know, teen to adult size here. Okay, so for this one, we're going to have, you're going to chain 3, and then you're going to have 13 blue, 1 white, 6 blue, and then 13 white, 3 blue, 1 white, 3 blue, 1 white, 3 blue, 1 white, and then blue the rest of the way. Okay, for the adult, it's going to be a little bit different, and so I'll be explaining that as I'm going along. Those of you who are doing the child size, make sure you're following the other pattern. Okay, and I will try to kind of go back and forth so that it makes sense. All right, here we go. So we're going to do slip stitched. We're going to change colors to blue. So we'll tie that knot, slide it down. Okay, and since we're doing such a large chunk of blue, I'm going to actually cut this white, and I'll be adding that later. And what I'll do is I will work this white in, or if you'd like, you can always go back at the end and weave in your ends. It's up to you. All right, so we're going to pull the blue through, pinch, and pull the white. Chain 3. Okay, so if you're doing a child size, you're going to do 13 blue. If you're doing the larger size, that teen size where I did the increase for an additional row, you're going to be doing 17 blue. We're not counting this chain, okay? So we're just counting from these stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So if you're doing the child size, you're going to not do these additional stitches, okay, and you're going to be changing to white, okay, but we're doing the larger size. So 14, 15, 16, and 17. I'm just going to double check, not counting that first chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right, so now we're going to change colors to white. Pull that down. All right, wrap it around and pull the white through. Pinch and pull down the blue. Okay, we're doing 1 stitch of the white. All right, switch back to blue. Okay, so that stitch of white was 18 for those of you who are doing the larger size, and that was 14 stitches for those of you who are doing the smaller size. Okay, so we'll wrap it around and go in here. So now we're going to do 6 of blue. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and we're just going to pull this white over, bring it here, wrap it around, pinch, pull down the blue. All right, and now you're going to be doing 13 stitches of white if you are doing the smaller size, and 15 if you're doing the larger size. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 if you're doing the smaller size. We're going to do 2 more stitches because I'm making the larger size. Okay. Now, if you'd like, you could stretch this blue all the way across, but that would be a long stretch. And so I'm going to actually just snip it, and then I'm going to tie it in here. Slide it down. Okay. So we're going to wrap around and pull the blue through, pinch, pull the white. All right, now we're going to do 3 stitches of blue. This is whether you did the large size or the small size. So 1, 2, and 3. Let me make sure that that's right. Pretty sure that's right. Yep, 3. Okay. All right, and now we're going to switch to white. Remember, we're keeping that nice and loose. 1 stitch of white. Switch back to blue. Wrap it around. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Blue over there. Go. All right, we're switching back to white now. One stitch of white. Okay. Blue. 1, 2, and 3. And another stitch of white. All right, and then now we're going to switch back to blue for the last time. At least last time for this row. And you're just going to finish out the row with the blue. Okay. And then slip stitch through. And that's our first row of this new blue. Okay, so for those of you who, if you maybe added even an additional row to make an even bigger hat, or maybe if you did the toddler size, you know, maybe just take a look here and figure out, you know, you may need to adapt the pattern a little bit. But it should look something like this when it's folded in half. Okay. All right, so for this next round, we're going to continue this pattern. It's going to be almost the same as this last one with a few key differences. Well, mostly just one key difference. We're going to be adding one little spot here. Okay, so this row we went all the way across with the white. Okay, these next 2 rows, we're adding a little block, 4 squares of blue here in the front and center. Okay, so for this next row, you're just going to follow and do the same thing up until you get to right here. So first what you're going to want to do is snip off this white. Because you're going to need to add the white here. That would be a long ways for the white to go. Alright, so I'm just going to meet you back here after you repeat this same pattern, changing to white here, and then doing the 6 of blue, and I'll meet you right here. Okay, so I finished following the same pattern as the row before until I got to here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring the white over. Wrap that white around, make sure you keep it loose. Alright, and now, no matter what size hat you're making, you're going to do 6 rows, or not 6 rows, 6 stitches. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then now we're going to switch to blue. Pull that blue over. We're going to do 4 of the blue. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, this goes for whether you're doing child size or the larger size. Switch back to white. Pinch, pull that blue down. Okay, so now if you're doing a child size, you'll just, I think it's only 3 stitches of white. If you're doing this larger size, you've actually got 5. Alright, and then we're going to do this section. I'll go ahead and just follow along with you on this section just because it's a lot of changing colors. So we'll do this together. Wrap around, pinch, pull that white, tuck that white down, wrap it around, do 3 stitches of blue. And again, you have the option. You can either work this in as you go along, so it looks like that from the inside, or you can leave it bare, which we haven't gone on to the next row, but that would make it look like this on the inside of the hat. So it's totally up to you. I'm working it in. The downside to working it in is that, you know, that color does tend to peek through a little bit easier. You can kind of see it in there. Just peeks through a little bit more than it would, but I do like how it looks on the inside. So we're gonna change back to, oops, I accidentally stitched our working yarn of the white in there. We do not want that. Okay, there we go. All right, now I'm gonna bring the white over, pinch, wrap it around, pinch that and pull. 1 stitch of white. Change to blue. Pinch, pull. And then stitching that blue in. 1, 2. Oops. 3. Okay. And then we're going to pull this white through. All right, now we're going to switch to white. 1 stitch of the white. Okay, wrap around, bring the blue through, pinch, pull, wrap it around, go into that next stitch. 1, 2, and 3. You guys are probably just becoming pros at this changing color stuff. Wrap around the white, pull, pinch, tug on that blue, wrap it around, 1 stitch of the white. These are getting all tangled up, so we'll just kind of unravel that a little bit. There we go. And we're cutting this anyway, so. Alright, switch to the blue. Remember to keep it loose. And then you're just doing blue to the end of this row. Okay, so our next row is just an exact duplicate of the row that you just did. So if you need to follow along, then you know, rewind this video back a little bit, and you can just kind of follow along again on this row. But yeah, so you're just going to keep following this exact same pattern from this most recent row, not the one before. So you're going to be coming here, and you'll do the 6 white, 4 blue, and then either 3 or 5 of the white, and then go into your pattern over here. So when you're done with that, I will meet you right back here. Okay, so I made it to the end of that row. Just gonna snip off this white and slip stitch. Okay, and we have finished that round. So now is a good time to try it on, either yourself or someone who's the size that you're trying to make it for. If you don't have that type of information, here's just, I'll provide a link. This is a great resource, just kind of size hats. So for this hat, this is for a child, and we'll just measure the height here. And this is measuring just below 8 inches, and that's going to be a good size for a child. Now for this hat right now, it's measuring, let's see here. This is measuring closer to 8.5 inches already. And so, you know, 8.25 to 8.5. So if you're making this for a teen or a large child, okay, you're gonna want this to be about 8.5 inches. So for this next row, this last little row, you're gonna do like this hat where I just did 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. If you're making this for someone, you know, where the measurement from the head to the ear is a little bit longer, then you're gonna wanna do a row of double crochet for this next row. And if you even need it to be even longer, then, you know, add a couple rows, and you can maybe mix it up with blue and white, however you want to do it. So for this particular hat, I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch. But for those of you who haven't done single crochet, and if you need to do single crochet, I'm going to show you how to single crochet first. So those of you who are doing double crochet, you probably already know what you need to do, so go ahead and just do 1 round all the way around of the double crochet. Those of you who are doing the single crochet, I'll just demonstrate that for those of you who have not done that before. So slide that down. Okay, we're gonna chain, pull down the blue. Okay, now so we're gonna chain 2. 1, 2. And then we're gonna go into this first stitch. Okay, so we're not wrapping the yarn around like you do for the double crochet. Okay, so you're just going to put it right there in the stitch. Grab that yarn through. So now you have 2 on this. Now you're gonna pull through. And that's it. So you're gonna go in this first stitch, pull through. You've got 2. Wrap it around, pull through both. Okay, we'll do that again. Do that first stitch, pull through. You've got 2 on there. Wrap it around, pull through 2. Next stitch, pull through. You've got 2 on there. Wrap it around, pull through. So that's how you do 1 double crochet into each stitch. So you'll do that all the way around, or you'll do the 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way around, depending on you know, how tall the hat is and what height it is that you need. So again, for a toddler, small child, you're going to want it to be 8 inches for or smaller. For a child or teen, you're going to want it to be 8 to 8.5 inches. And for an adult, you're going to want it to be 8.5 to 9 inches. So for those of you doing the double crochet, that's what I'm doing right now because I want my hat to be a little bit taller. So I'm just going to go around and do the 1 double crochet into each stitch. And whether you're doing 1 double crochet or the single crochet, I will meet you right back here. One note as you're going around, on this last row, whether you've been tucking them in or not so far, on this last row it's very important that you stitch these in. You're close enough to the end of the hat that it's just going to be very important to have these stitched into your work. So you're going to crochet over these strands here. So we'll wrap around and go through. And you can also work in some of these other loose pieces from that row as you're going along. But this is also going to save you some time at the end and just make for a better finish. So so if you see here, I'm going to be working both of these strands of white in as I'm going along. So make sure that you're doing that. Again, whether you're doing a 1 single crochet all the way around or a double crochet, make sure that you're working these strands in. So keep doing that and make sure that you're maybe glancing in every once in a while as you're making your hat, just to make sure that you're getting them. So I finished going all the way around, and this hat is now measuring 8 3/4-ish. This is going to be a good size for a teenager to an adult or even a child with a larger head. That's how that looks. Now you can leave this unfinished edge. This is the 1 single crochet in each stitch. This is the double crochet in each stitch. But if you want it to look a little bit more finished, you can add 1 row all the way around of a slip stitch. So I'm going to show you what that is. I'll show you in 2 different colors so you can decide which you would prefer for your specific hat. So I'll start with white. We'll chain 1 and we'll just go into this first stitch and you just slip stitch. So you just go through, wrap it around, pull through, pull through. Okay, and you want to take care and make sure that you are keeping it loose, otherwise it'll be hard to get the hat on. So go through, pull through, and pull through. Again, you're just making sure that you're keeping it nice and loose. So you can kind of see already just kind of the look, how that changes the look of the hat a little bit. Just kind of makes that edge just look a little bit more finished. It doesn't actually add length really, it just adds a nice little finished edge. So now I'll show you what the blue looks like. You would rather do blue. Pull that blue through. And then pull the white. All right, and then we're gonna slip stitch. So wrap it around, pull through, go into the stitch, wrap around, pull through. And again, you're making sure that you're keeping it nice and loose. Around, pull through, in, and pull through. So that is that look. So you can decide what you would most prefer. I'm going to go ahead and do this blue all the way around, but you can also just keep it white. So I finished going around with my little bit of trim by doing that slip stitch all the way on the bottom, which just finishes off the hat really nicely. And I also added the slip stitch on the bottom of this other hat. Okay, so you're done with part 1 of the tutorial. So now go ahead and click on my video for part 2. In part 2, you're going to be learning how to make these embellishments and also how to stitch them on. I will also teach you how to weave in your ends so that the inside of your hat doesn't look like this. So we'll get it nice and cleaned up so that it looks better. So thank you so much for following along with this tutorial, and I'll see you at part 2. So I finished going around with my little bit of trim by doing that slip stitch all the way on the bottom, which just finishes off the hat really nicely. And I also added the slip stitch on the bottom of this other hat. Okay, so you're done with part 1 of the tutorial. So now go ahead and click on my video for part 2. In part 2, you're going to be learning how to make these embellishments and also how to stitch them on. I will also teach you how to weave in your ends so that the inside of your hat doesn't look like this. So we'll get it nice and cleaned up so that it looks better. So thank you so much for following along with this tutorial, and I'll see you at part 2.